Hello, my name is Hans Johnson, and I am a demographer with the Public Policy Institute of California. In this brief video, I'm going to discuss population growth and change in California. One of the defining features of our state has been its tremendous population growth and change. No other developed region of the world that is the size of California has sustained such dramatic population growth decade after decade after decade. As recently as 1970, California was home to slightly less than 20 million people. Today, the state's population is approaching 40 million people. That doubling in about 40 years is much more like growth rates that we see in less developed countries than we see in other developed regions of the world. And it is not only the fact of California's population growth that is so remarkable, it is also the diversity and complexity of that population growth. In 1970, almost 80% of the state's residents were non-Hispanic white. Today, no race or ethnic group constitutes a majority of the state's population, and the fastest growing group are Asian and Latino populations. Within the next decade, Latinos will become the single largest population in California, but still there will not be a majority ethnic group in our state. Despite this rapid growth, it has slowed over the last couple decades. In fact, the 2010 census found that California's growth rate between 2000 and 2010 was almost exactly the same as the rest of the nation. This is the first time in our history that we have not grown appreciably faster than the rest of the country. That meant that for the first time since the census has been used to reapportion the House of Representatives, that is determining how many members each state gets, California did not get a single additional new member in Congress. This is because our population growth had slowed compared to earlier decades, and in particular, what happened was we saw a lot of people leave California to move to other states. Despite that movement out of California, we still received large numbers of international immigrants, and we had strong natural increase, that is more births than deaths. So our population continued to grow even though we were losing people to other states. Projections suggest that the slower rate of growth for California will continue. But even with this slower rate of growth, because the size of our population is so large, we're still talking about large absolute gains from one year to the next. On average, over the next 10 or 20 years, for example, California is expected to add about 400,000 people each year, equivalent to a city the size of Long Beach. Our population is aging. Just as in the rest of the nation, as the baby boom gets older, our population gets older. The leading edge of the baby boom hit 65 this year, and by 2030, 1 in 5 Californians will be over the age of 65. At the same time, the population of children in California is not changing very dramatically. Population changes like these, in terms of numbers and composition, have implications for public policy in our state in almost every area of public policy concern, from transportation to water to education and healthcare. Certainly, the slowing of the child population means that funding K-12 education will be less of a challenge than it otherwise would have been, but at the same time, the older population increase will put stresses on our healthcare delivery system. California's population is unique in the world. With large numbers of people from all over the world and from other states, California has an incredible mix of cultures, talents, and global connections. The diversity of our population and their skills, their interests, their ingenuity are truly one of our strengths as a state. Thank you for listening.